Hi, my name is Matt. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Here to review Tom and Jerry, the latest HBO Max theatrical simultaneous release that I got a chance to see in the theater. And let me tell you, this movie is unyieldingly bad. This movie almost shattered my faith in the cinematic experience. It is so spectacularly not good. This film is about Tom and Jerry, whom I grew up loving as a kid, and even though they have the namesake of the film, they have maybe 45 minutes of screen time in this 2-hour movie that is mostly about this overcomplicated wedding. The movie, you could really kind of tell the inner workings of studio thinking here. You have Warner Brothers, who had this property, Tom and Jerry, that they knew had a built-in audience. However, they have not had a relevant audience for quite some time. Last movie, I think, came out in 1996, theatrically anyway. So they were like obviously kind of concerned that it wasn't going to have the draw that they wanted, so they made and committed to the decision of having Tom and Jerry not speak, even though they're the only animals in the movie that don't, which is, like, you know, canon according to all the other Tom and Jerry shorts. And once they made that decision, you stop any kind of character growth, character development, or you limit it at the very least. You make it very, very difficult to make that work. So by doing that, the studio was shook, had no idea what to do with this property, or even had faith that they could carry their own feature film for 90 minutes to 2 hours. So what they obviously did was take a separate script that also was not necessarily working, this one about a weird hotel and a wedding, and they slapped the two together, but the two films never coalesce, they never merge properly, and what you're left with is a clunker where all the funny parts are in the trailer. Absolutely every single time that you laugh comes right out of the trailer. The movie is just bland, it's boring. The animation doesn't really look all that good. You have some really funny people. Rob Delaney's in this. You have Michael Pena, who almost makes the movie work with his scenes. At least those ones are the most engaging. But those people are shunted to the side to focus on the boring lead character who offers nothing to the movie. And you're following her as the main character and the inner workings of these people who work at this hotel. And it's just a whole lot of blah. And midway through this movie, I sat down in my head and I started to assess Warner Brothers' decision. Because this is now the third day-and-date release that they've done, not counting Wonder Woman, because that wasn't part of the 2021 lineup. And in looking at them, it makes perfect sense why they did this. This is a studio that doesn't have faith in any of their content. They looked at the little things, which isn't a bad movie, it's an okay movie. Very hard to market. It's a movie that you would want to market kind of like Seven. They're trying to find this serial killer. But that's not really what it's about. It's more of a character, I don't want to even say character study, it's a glorified TV movie with really high caliber acting. But it makes it insanely hard to hunker down and market that film. You have Judas and the Black Messiah, which by all rights is quite good, at least in terms of acting and technical make. It feels like The Departed meets like real life history. Also kind of a hard one to market outside of the fact that this is like Oscar buzz movie. You have Tom and Jerry, where obviously they had no faith in this movie, and rightfully so. It's not very good. Looking further down the line, you have Godzilla versus Kong. Well, the first Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla, and Kong did well in the box office. Godzilla doing quite well, not a very good movie, but quite well. Kong, better movie, but did a little lesser. It's been diminishing returns. Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019 was a dud, both box office-wise and in terms of quality of film. So they probably don't have a whole lot of faith in that one, even though this one does look admittedly all right. So did the last one, for that matter. But you have little faith in that film as well, studio side. You have Mortal Kombat, because like video game movies in general aren't particularly known for being good. Two of the better ones we've had in the past 2 years, with Sonic last year, Detective Pikachu the year before, but the only truly good comic or video game movie that I've ever seen is probably that first Mortal Kombat movie. But you can see where a studio would have concerns about that one. That said, that trailer looks fantastic, but the whole time I'm sitting here and just thinking about their lineup, and I'm like, this is a studio that has no faith in their content. Even something like Dune, made by Denis Villeneuve, fantastic filmmaker. The movie looks great. Dune has a terrible track record of making it into a cinematic landscape. The previous feature film was the Alan Smith directed one, it was a David Lynch film, and then you had the whole issue, there's a documentary about it, about the previous time they tried to bring Dune to life. Hard to instill a lot of faith in that being of high quality. Suicide Squad is probably the biggest clunker of all of the DC Cinematic Universe films. And we have a remake coming from a Marvel guy, and last time that happened, you had Justice League and people didn't like it. I did, but whatever. Anyway, getting back to Tom and Jerry, the movie made me have a mental crisis midway through it, where I realized that Warner Brothers is shook, has no idea what to do with their films, how to even market them, so they're just going to dump them all on their HBO Max. And probably rightfully so, because if people were to pay full price for these movies, they're going to be let down. It's a lot easier to just be like, yeah, I watched Tom and Jerry, it's all right for a couple of hours with the kids. Paying $10 to go see it theatrically, not so much. You're going to have a lot more disappointment, as I did. Anyway, there's like almost no redeeming qualities to that film. I would give it a 1 out of 4 stars. I will be kind of surprised if this doesn't land on my worst of the year list, if not have the placeholder of being, number 1 worst 2021 film. So that's Tom and Jerry. Don't see this one. I'm going to review another film and upload it here shortly that is of vastly superior quality and reinstilled faith in, cinema. So you'll have that to look forward to. Haven't thought of a name yet for my YouTube channel. This is my first review that I'm doing publicly like this. So yeah, name's in a state of flux. But I kind of like that, state of flux.